If you are experiencing foundation issues, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
As we continue on Daybreak Live this morning, we're joined by Kelley Wassermann, the Sylacauga Child Nutrition Program Director for Sylacauga City Schools. Kelley, good morning to you.
Good morning, Jimmy Dale.
Good to have you with us this morning. I know it was a busy day yesterday. Let's get to it.
Oh, it's been a busy week.
Yeah.
But yesterday we had our grand opening for our Curbside grab-and-go meal pickup. These are meals that are free to any child age 18 and under. You don't have to be enrolled in Sylacauga City Schools. This goes all the way down to little ones. So we're just very excited to have the opportunity to provide this for our community.
How did this come together? It had to be something that you just had to quickly get your arms around.
Exactly. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. The last week has really been a blur because all of this came in so quickly. But so if I get my dates mixed up, please forgive me. But along about last Thursday, we realized the virus was quickly coming our way. And Dr. Seegers came to me and said, start working on a plan of how we're going to make sure we are able to provide food for these children. So, we had no guidelines at that point.
You just snap your fingers and say, oh, okay.
Well, you just take a deep breath, throw up a prayer, and ask for God's guidance on this. So I worked most of the weekend, and I also worked in tandem with the child nutrition directors in Talladega County and Talladega City. We were in constant communication. We thought it was very important that we were all on the same page with this. But how my plan came together is we have a 3-day cycle menu. Yesterday we served turkey wraps. Today's going to be peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And tomorrow's going to be ham and cheese sandwich. So that was our original plan, and it's got all of the meal components with the meat, the bread, fruit, vegetable, carrot sticks, and milk. So the plan was, we want to minimize contact. We need that social distancing that's so important during this time. So we have curbside service. We take boxes loaded up with these meals to the front curbs of Nichols Lawson Middle School, Pinecrest Elementary School, and we have a third location over at Verley Collins Center. And the idea was for parents to just drive by, tell us how many children you've got, we'll hand you those meals, and see you again tomorrow. We didn't want anybody getting out of the cars. I'd love to see you, but come again the next day.
It took a lot of people to put this together.
It did. Monday morning, I called all of my managers to come in at 6 a.m. And we sat down and we reviewed the plan. And at that time, it was a good plan. At that time, we were thinking we would be in school for 3 days this week. Another key factor in all this is Monday is our truck day. That's a very big day in child nutrition. We get our food truck, our produce truck, and our milk truck. So I had given them instructions. Here's our menu. After your truck runs, inventory what you've got, send me that list so that we'll know what we have to work with and what I need to order. And then it hit us. Oh no. We've got 28 cases of frozen breakfast yogurt coming on this truck, and it's going to be out of date before kids come back. What do we do? And I thought, well, we're not going to let it go to waste. So that's when we quickly adapted our plan to include breakfast grab and go. So we've got.
So it's breakfast and lunch.
Oh yes. When the parents come to the curb, we give them a lunch bag for each child and a breakfast bag to go in the refrigerator for breakfast the next morning.
Wow. Now, it kicked off yesterday.
Yes.
And I'm sure there was a bump or bruise along the way, but it went pretty doggone smoothly, didn't it?
I'm very pleased and overwhelmed with the way it went. Now, I will tell you, I refer to it as controlled chaos. My staff has been fabulous. And I want to say now, none of this could happen without them. And not all heroes wear capes. Some wear hairnets and aprons.
Absolutely.
And I'm just so proud of my staff for the way they have stepped up. They signed up for different positions to work. Some need to work in the kitchen, some need to work curbside at these locations. We also have a wonderful community of volunteers that have called wanting to help. We're not quite ready to turn it over to them yet. We still have a few things we want to iron out because this is going to be prolonged at least for 2 more weeks.
Right.
And if the school closure is in place longer than that, we're working on a plan to how we can continue this. But yesterday they all came in. We got these meals packed. I started out at the Burley Collins Center. And about the time I got there, I got a phone call from the Curb at Nichols Lawson. They had already handed out 30 meals in 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And we'd sent 50 to the Curb. So, we scrambled. I called the kitchen. That's why we had people in place there. Start putting together more meals, get it down to the Curb. And at Burley Collins, we ran out. We had to call the kitchen, put together more meals. We're on our way to pick them up. And it was just phenomenal. Not knowing what to expect, I had set the goal hoping we would do 175 meals. We did 234 yesterday. And we have a plan for how we can even increase that and be more effective with our service today.
So what do people do? Do they just drive up?
Yes. And down at Burley Collins, if there were children on bicycles that went by, we pulled them over and we gave them a bag, hung it on their handlebars, and they rode off on their way.
We're not doing this to try to impress people.
Oh, no.
We're doing this because of need.
Absolutely. In Sylacauga, I can tell you that more than half of the children in Sylacauga live in households that struggle. The need is great in our community, and these are our community's kids. And this school closure has come on everybody so unexpectedly.
Tugs at your heart, doesn't it?
It does. It does. The need is great. And it's been so heartwarming for me to see how people have stepped up and volunteered to help meet these needs.
So people can drive by, they have their kids with them, every child in the vehicle gets a bag?
Absolutely.
And the same will go for today?
Absolutely.
Those same kids can come get...
Through April 3rd.
Okay.
And as I said, we're working on a plan for how we can continue this service if it is necessary.
And these are nutritional type food items too?
Yes, this follows the meal pattern from USDA, where every lunch will have protein and grains, fruit, vegetable, and milk. Sometimes, yesterday, I think we were close to running out of baby carrots, so you might get 2 different fruits in that bag, but there'll be 2 either fruit or vegetable combination. Then the breakfast follows the meal pattern of the grain, the fruit, and milk.
Tell me a good story from yesterday.
Oh, my heavens.
I know there are a lot of them, but tell me a good story from yesterday. You say, wow.
Well, it was just... it was the response, the volunteers that showed up at the distribution point at Burley Collins. I was not prepared for that. There was a teacher from Indian Valley that brought her child to help. And we had teachers, we had administrators, our new football coach was there. And not only school system people, but even people who just live in that community came out to help. And it was just so heartwarming for me to see.
So are volunteers needed, or you got that covered, or?
Volunteers will be needed.
Okay.
As I said, we're still working on fine-tuning some things, and we hope that by the end of the day tomorrow, we've got everything nailed down where we're ready to hand it over to volunteers for the distribution. Now, the child nutrition staff will still handle the food preparation. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but all of this is shelf-stable food. There's no cooked food. And we just thought that would be the safest way to manage this.
What about ages? What age group is this?
Age 18 and under.
Okay. And they don't have to be a student in the local school systems, am I correct?
That's correct. That's correct. If they're homeschooled, if they go to a daycare, any child 18 and younger. And I want to point out too, we are running next week, which was supposed to be spring break. And my staff and all of these volunteers are giving their time to help with this cause.
All hands on deck.
You got it.
Wow. Kelley Wassermann, Director of the Sylacauga Child Nutrition Program, and got a lot of stuff going on here. This is from 11 until noon now. We don't linger into the afternoon or anything like that. We got that 1 hour window?
That's right. That's right.
Okay. This program, how is it funded?
USDA.
Okay.
USDA has been on top of this. I think they must have had their plan in place before the school closures. You know, they probably saw it as this virus was working its way across the nation. This was going to be the safest way to manage things, was to limit social contact. So they immediately came through, and when whatever day it was last week, when President Trump declared a national emergency, and then of course the governor came on Friday evening declaring a state of emergency, that released the funding. So, you know, we're using our existing inventory right now to provide these meals, and all that will be replaced with this funding that we'll be receiving.
So walk us through, before we go this morning, the procedure of how this works at the different locations.
For Pinecrest and Nichols Lawson, just drive up to the curb and tell us how many children you've got in the car, and we'll hand you those meals. And I want to make sure everybody understands you don't have to be just a Nichols Lawson student or a Pinecrest student to go to those locations. Anybody can go to those locations. Today we're going to try something different in the Burley-Collins area to be a little more effective and to reach out to other pockets. I didn't realize how big that area is, how spread out it is. So our transportation supervisor, David Wassermann, who happens to be my husband,
It's a family affair, isn't it?
Well, I tell you, when I came home last night, he just blew me away. The first thing he said to me is, "What do you think about this idea?" And he has volunteered to drive Bus 15 through its regular route through Drew Court. Bus 15 is the bus, those kids know that. And so today we're going to try this and see if we can reach areas that might not have gotten the message. So we're going to stop at every bus stop, hope the kids come out, we'll be blowing the horn, and however many kids come out at each stop, we'll hand them their meals and move on to the next stop. So that'll begin at 11 o'clock.
All right, Nichols Lawson, Pinecrest, and Burley-Collins from 11 until noon, and this is Monday through Friday.
Yes.
And we'll continue next week during what normally would be spring break. And I don't know if this is a place to put this or not, but I'll drop it in and take it for whatever it's worth. A lot of people in our community, many people are giving people.
Yes.
I mean, they love to help. Outside of volunteering, is there any other way that they can assist with this?
I'm sure there are numerous ways. I know that SAFE and Alabama Food Solutions are partnering together. We realize not everybody has transportation to bring their children to pick up meals or to even go to the store to get their own food. And I know that yesterday they are working a plan to have in place soon where they can help possibly deliver food to those households.
Okay.
So I would encourage everybody that has that need, please contact SAFE.
All right. Kelley, thanks so much for coming this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And I asked Kelley before the show, probably didn't have any trouble pilling your head to sleep last night. It's a busy time. Thanks to all the volunteers and you guys for doing a great job and loving our kids.
Absolutely.
And making sure that they got full stomachs.
Yes.
More Daybreak right after this.